Today marks 1476 days share lessons I learned and continue to learn with you. Well, I hope these insights will inspire you, support your dreams, help achieve your goals, really empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today we speak about defensive detachment and 7 things that we need to know about defensive detachment. I think that every single person could detach. And it could be offensive detachment, when you want to really say, I will detach for you because you did something bad. And it could be defensive detachment, that I want to protect myself from something that is out there, and then we detach from something else. So today we'll share 7 things that we're able to speak about defensive detachment. So number 1, it's not coldness, it's protection. Because sometimes we can feel that we are cold, we're inconsiderate, but we are the most considerate of ourselves, because sometimes when you think about other person's feelings, that they will feel that they maybe is left behind. If we need to protect ourselves, if our emotional health essence is threatened, and we need to detach ourselves, if we tried other things, we're able to communicate, and there's no other way. Sometimes defensive detachment, to defend ourselves from a toxic environment is essential. Now, important to mention this toxic environment, we need to ask ourselves: is this environment toxic? If I'm able to defend myself from this environment, walk away, give less time to this environment. That is not coldness. Even though that you could look for other person because you are cold, you walk away, but that is protection. Number 2, it feels like control, but it's actually fear. I think that we fear of losing ourselves, we fear of being stuck, because when we detach, we feel in charge. No one can touch you, no one can hurt you. But I think that the most important part to understand is a fear of being hurt again. And there's a high chance of it. If you have been hurt, it might be there's a high chance of it. I think that we need to defensively detach from people who have hurt in the past. But if we defensively detach from people that never did anything bad for us, that is potentially lead to wrong things. Because I think that we need to trust people. Of course, if one person really misused our trust, and they do not belong in our circle, we're able to really defensively detach from that person. But we're not supposed to use defensive detachment from every single person that we see in our lives afterwards. Because we potentially could defensively detach because we fear that we will be hurt again. Even though that's the control. That's the control. It gives control. It feels like control. But at the end of the day, we fear, and we'll lose everything. Because so that if you close the door, that means no one will be coming out and not coming in. So that means that we need to be very careful. If we close the door, that means even the goodness will not come into our lives. Number 3 is you can't selectively numb. That's interesting, because somebody say, "Oh, I just will numb that feeling. I will numb that. I will numb that anger. I will numb that sadness. I will numb that emotion. I will numb that shame." But if we numb that emotion, that will numb all our emotions around it. So if you numb sadness, shame, anger, you will probably numb joy, bliss, and in general, it will feel numb altogether. Rather than numbing things, what we need to do, we need to feel through them, allow to really change to something else. Because if you numb, we put all the emotions in that numb box. But if you say, like, I allow that emotion to through me, even so it is painful, but when you allow that emotion through and you accept that this is what they feel right now, but when I will allow this emotion to go through me, and I will start to be grateful that it showed the full picture, at that moment be able to really start moving into bliss, joy, and all other positive emotions. Because we do not discriminate. All emotions are real, and we need to make sure that we allow that. Number 4 is it's rooted in survival, not choice. Especially in the childhood, when people don't know anything else to do, just flight and freeze, and sometimes there's nothing else to do, so you are defensively detached subconsciously from the environment, because this is a survival mode. Our bodies are amazing, and our bodies are based on survival. And if that pain is so painful, that suffering, then our bodies, as a survival method, will detach from defensively detach from all those emotions, all those feelings, and most likely those emotions that was attached will sabotage something in the future because some of those emotions are extremely important. And like sometimes, as I said, it's not choice. So knowing that, sometimes when we are adults, we're able to go back into the same experience in the past. It's like knowing my new perspective, and I'm able to reflect on them with a new me. Because I love the past that your past changes when you change. Because when we have exactly the same experience, two people, different people, will have different reflections on the same experience. That's exactly the same, but after 10 years, it will be a different person. And so when you look into the same experience, you have different reflection on that experience. And knowing that, you say, okay, this was my survival, but now I choose to act differently. I don't want to use the defensive detachment in in my relationships, in my life anymore. Number five is emotional intimacy feels unsafe even when it's safe. And I think that's the most probably important thing to understand is that closeness, being able to be close to somebody could feel threatening. And why is that? Because when last time you felt close, you will hurt. So next time when you feel close, now that defensive detachment could kick in because I don't want to be hurt again. I don't want to really experience how this is closeness, that next step of hurtness. But being vulnerable and really allow to feel emotional intimacy, even though that it feels unsafe, even though that because we will need to give that trust. Why not? If we do not give trust, we'll not be able to build foundation because foundation is built on trust. And if you're not able to really go through that defensive attachment, if you're not able to give that trust, it's very, very hard to build intimate relationship. Intimate relationship, I say that when intimate relation, when you have that close connection, when you're able to really hold your hand and you feel warm inside, that's what's important. When you're able to hug and know that this is a person for me, with me, about me, and everything in between. Number six is independence isn't the same as isolation. Healthy independence is I can't stand alone. Defensive attachment, I must stand alone or I will get hurt. That is a huge difference. Because one is freedom, one is fear. Independence is freedom that you do the right things by yourself. Be whole as a person, knowing that you can do and be happy by yourself as you are right now. But bringing other person into your life is just a bonus. It's a beautiful, blissful, joyful bonus. When you think about your going to work 9 to 5 job and you're really getting salary every single month and at Christmas you get a bonus. You didn't expect it, you didn't thought they will get it, but you get the bonus and it's all you even more happy. So that means your salary you're already happy and the bonus is even on the top. So I think that that's how we're supposed to feel about our life. When we are by ourselves, we're supposed to feel and happy, present, mindful, whole, grounded, peaceful. And when there's a person coming in, just adds a bonus on all those things. I think that's a beautiful thing. Number seven is healing requires reconnection, not analysis. I really love that when I say that you're not able to think your way out of your defensive detachment. You're not able to think out of your defensive detachment. What it means, defensive detachment was created. It was created because your emotions was not met or hurt. You didn't receive what you needed or you were mistreated. So both of them could work. You didn't receive what you needed or you were mistreated. So both of them are creating emotions that potentially could create defensive attachment. But again, that if those emotions created defensive attachment, that means we need to use and feel those emotions that created defensive attachment and allow that emotion to go through us so we can release that emotion so that the defensive attachment could disappear. I think it's easy to get lost in reading books, thinking how you can really become less defensive and less detached. But the most important part, being able to reconnect with your emotions through deep connection with your emotions. At that moment, you'll be able to release that defensive detachment and really have that deep connections with people. And that's the most important part. Having deep connections with people, one of the most important things in life. So I hope you reconnect with your emotions. You know exactly what you feel. You will able to regulate your emotions because of probably you've heard it. Emotion regulation is one of the most important, if not the most important things to really have a very successful life. So I hope you choose to win and see you tomorrow.